Here, there is the interest to address the comparison or the distinction between self-esteem and arrogance. From the point of view of the egoic mind, which is broadly populating the world at this time, there is inevitably a confusion between these two because true self-esteem transcends the ego. That is, it transcends the belief in oneself being limited to a personal, separate entity. Whereas arrogance is inherent within the belief in being a separate, limited entity. Why is this? First, I'll address why it is arrogant and why the ego is inherently infused with arrogance to believe oneself to be separate and limited. It is to suggest that I, as a personal entity, have a reality of my own, independent of reality at large. And that this separate reality I am, which is limited and personal, have the ability to control the reality at large. That is, to control the body, to control situations, events, and other people. Or that this personal entity is somehow higher, more superior than other personal entities. So this point of view comes from an ignoring or an ignorance of the true nature of reality. That reality is in fact one seamless, indivisible, infinite whole that is aware of itself as I in each of us. And that's where true self-esteem comes from, the recognition of our oneness, that we are all the same being. To recognize we are all the same being is to be established knowingly as the infinite, which has no lack, incompleteness, or any sense that something is missing within itself. It is intrinsically worthy of being and of expressing, for it is the only one that is. It is the source of everything. It is expressing all the time as everything, and it is true worth beyond even the concept of worth. It is esteemed in itself because it just simply loves itself. It is happy being itself. It is at peace knowing itself. For its nature is infinite and eternal. That is happiness. That is peace. That is love. So this infinite reality that is aware of itself now as what we call awareness is experiencing itself as happiness, peace, and love. And that is the ultimate self-esteem. The only way we could be arrogant is if we were to believe ourselves to be a separate, limited entity and to believe subsequently that this personal entity we consider ourselves to be is better than, above, more superior than, more special than another entity. So the way to transcend arrogance is just to investigate the belief that we are a separate, limited entity and see that the one who is arrogant is a fictitious, imaginary self composed in the mind. And we are the awareness that's aware of the mind. We are independent of the mind. We are not identified by anything that the mind says, namely that we are a separate, limited entity. We are intrinsically free. So we immediately, in recognizing this, transcend arrogance. The mind may continue to utter arrogant thoughts due to the momentum of habitually believing ourselves in the past to be a separate, limited entity, but now there's no problem for ourself, for we see ourself as we truly are, which is independent of the mind, not limited by the mind. And as we go deeper into that awareness that we are seeing clearly that we are the infinite, the eternal, that we are not limited in any fashion or form. And so that being infinite is the experience of absolute self-esteem, absolute happiness, peace, and love for ourself. And that is for ourself, showing up as everyone and everything. So from this perspective of being the infinite and eternal reality, as we embody this human form, we experience all of the talents, skills, nuances, proclivities, enthusiasms that flow through it. And we relish in those, we enjoy those, and we can view this personal entity in the same fashion we view all personal entities. If we were to see a musician performing and felt touched by the beauty of the performance, we can feel, wow, what a special and beautiful expression of life. And in the same way, we can feel that with this very organism that we are aware of through. We can look at the skills and talents of this expression and say, wow, that's beautiful. For instance, the words that come out of Samuel's mouth, they can be observed from myself as this infinite, eternal reality, as a surprise. For every moment is a surprise. Every moment is an uncontrollable, spontaneous arising, birthed from this infinite intelligence we are. And so I'm simultaneously the substance expressing itself as the gesture, as the words, and simultaneously witnessing the surprise of what comes. And so I'm simultaneously the audience member and the performer. As the performer, I'm improvising, meaning I have no clue what's happening next. It's all a show, meaning it's all just happening spontaneously. Like watching a movie from within the movie. Watching a movie as the screen, embodying itself as all of the characters in the movie, and being amazed by what is seen. If someone listens to this and they held to a belief that they are separate and limited, and that Samuel is separate and limited as an entity, during the listening of this, there may be a misinterpretation that Samuel believes that he is special or better than others. But that would be to mistake who I truly am and for an entity limited to this body and mind. And likewise, to mistake yourself as an entity limited to that body and mind through which you're listening. In truth, there is only one being. We are all this being, enjoying ourselves in all of our diversity and uniqueness, and being amazed and awe-stricken at what has manifested within ourselves for the divine show and display that this is.